everyone, and welcome back to the No Cap Space post-game show. Our final one before putting boots on the ground in Tampa. What a day it has been across. Hold on, I know that ain't who I think it is. Hello, Shawnee. Welcome.
Hello, friends.
She's just been lurking.
I saw the picture. I was like, "Nah, we gotta get her on stage ASAP." Okay. Before we get going, let me tell you about our friends at Home Field. No Cap 15 is the code to get 15% off your very first purchase. Get some cool shirts like this one. Didn't go the way of the women of Troy today. Get cool hats like that one. Didn't go the way of Oregon in the second round. But we keep it pushing all across the board. You know who has two teams that are both still in it is Greer and Shawnee. And folks, as we see here, the dream of a UConn South Carolina championship game with boots on the ground is alive and well. And not only are we gonna have boots on the ground, but we're cooking some stuff up behind the scenes to put a little extra oomph into it. So once we get that ironed out, we'll make sure we report back to you, and you guys will see that firsthand.
Tyler's gonna get live reactions of us watching the confetti fall.
Bro.
I'm gonna be doing a snow angel in the confetti. What are you talking about? Make sure you grab that. Make sure you get
the
that.
The streak is on the line.
No, she flipping the game concept at half. Because what you snow angel in for?
Come on, I'm gonna be like old boy in Breaking Bad, laying on top of the money.
As the one who will not be joining you all in Tampa, the only thing I want you to do is find whoever of our fine two is the loser of that potential matchup and get the Stephon Diggs picture.
That
would be away watching the championship.
Especially if it's with what we're planning behind the scenes with that. Oh, come on now. That would be elite. That would be elite. But first, we got to talk about how both these teams got there. And South Carolina obviously did their part, but today UConn did theirs. And Shawnee, are you on the road right now? You're driving back, right?
Oh yeah, can you hear that?
No, you're okay. I was like, hold on, no, you're
don't crash the car while we're praising.
Yeah, we don't have no cap insurance or anything. So
all right, well, in case there's some signal lossage.
yeah.
Let me just say a quick shout out though. Shout out to the homie Palat. Boot to Boot Connections. Love seeing you guys in person. Love when you come up and show love. We do this for y'all. We do this because of y'all. We appreciate y'all. So shout out to Palak. Appreciate it.
Paige Bueckers, right? Part of the ball knowers?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So she's locked in. And if we see y'all in Tampa, come tell us your agenda.
Yeah.
Come tell us your agenda. We want to hear your agendas in Tampa. And if you don't like agendas, talk to Tyler. That is our complaint department. Once again.
Yeah. If you don't like our agendas, it seems to always be when I'm boots on the ground that I get to hear about it. For everybody else's, I've never actually heard anything about my own takes, but everyone else's.
Andrew, Tyler is he's the little soldier while me and Greer sleep.
It's the
listen to me at all this season, and you don't like my takes. Just remember that I'm the other white guy in Tyler.
It's worked before. This wouldn't be the first time.
One day we're gonna tell that story, bro.
Yeah, that might be like a tell-all for the ball knowers or something, man. What a time! What a time! Can't wait to go back to the Final Four for the first time since that happened. But let's talk about this game. Greer, I'll start off with you because obviously your UConn Huskies are headed to the Final Four. This was the Sarah Strong game of March Madness that I think everyone had kind of been waiting for. Paige Bueckers is one of look, man, we said this last year. We'll say it again. PEMDAS. When Paige Bueckers plays in March, UConn makes the Final Four. The P in PEMDAS stands for Paige. And that doesn't change. The equation doesn't change because Paige Bueckers is playing in March. And she gets her third 30-point game in a row, which is the second time a UConn player has done that, if I'm correct, Greer. And the first time was Paige in her freshman year. So to go from freshman year Paige to do that, go through all the injuries and everything that Paige has gone through, to now in her last hurrah on the way to the national championship, to the Final Four, to Tampa Bay, you go and do it again? Greer, give me the vibe check because you got to be feeling fantastic.
Oh, the vibes are immaculate. The vibes are immaculate.
Yeah.
I got my little tangerine LaCroix here.
Not sponsored. Not an ad.
Wish I had something stronger. You know what I mean? But we're gonna save that for Sunday in Tampa. I might just have a bottle on me or something. I might take a bottle.
Greer about to Chris Bosh.
Yes. No, I mean I loved what I saw. USC fought. They fought as much as they could given the circumstances, and Sarah was phenomenal to start the game. Finished with a career high 17 rebounds, was wet from three, gave Kiki everything she could handle. I mean, really just flat out won that matchup on both ends of the ball.
Yeah.
And this whole tournament has been about narratives and get back. And like, if you look hard enough, if you know the lore hard enough, there are plenty of opportunities for people to get square and get a little retribution. And I'm super excited that we are going to be playing UCLA on Friday night, because I will never forget the way the Bruins celebrated down in the Bahamas last year, off of after beating undermined UConn team. So
I'm talking about because y'all had a bunch of All-Americans left. No, we had to remind Gino that he still needs to put on his big boy pants and coach.
Now she's claiming UCLA. This is crazy, y'all.
I mean, we the general public had to remind Luigi to like.
This is gonna be such a good week.
But also, hey, UCLA good money with me because they got LSU up out the paint. So hey, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Except they also stopped your team from getting the overall number 1 seed.
Oh,
however,
hold up. I mean, we gonna get that back too. Hey, it's all good. Tucker yourself out with our lessers. Tucker yourself out with the lessers. Let's go. Meet us back in the finals, and then we'll talk.
We'll be there. We'll be there. But no, like getting back to the game. Paige, phenomenal again. Kennedy Smith, what a job she was doing in the opportunity she had to guard Paige. At the end of the day, her experience is just overwhelming. She'll beat you from three. She'll beat you pulling up. And tonight, she finally got the superstar whistle that she hasn't gotten in her entire UConn career. And I love it. I love everything about it.
The ad-libs from Shawnee as the hate fact checking is so good. We're about to get a whole week of this, y'all.
I was gonna say no cap hate week is about to be
bro. This is just the beginning. Once we get boots on the ground with it, oh my!
And we're gonna figure out how to configure it and take over ESPN Deportes. It's just gonna be me and Greer watching the game.
Shawnee and Greer are gonna be on the Sue and DT show. Just talking shit.
Honestly, the four of us would make magic. I'm just saying.
It would.
That would be on the Ocho, baby. That's come
on, put us on the Ocho. That's what I'm saying.
Boy, after I done talked about DT and Sue.
Yeah, no, Shawnee, bro. DT going at Shawnee might be electric. I'm not gonna lie. She heard the noise.
DT will cook.
She heard the noise. Andrew,
reality's on my side. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Andrew, your thoughts on this one? I mean, again, USC did just about as much as you could ask for in this one. But obviously, ultimately, UConn they're playing phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's UConn playing USC without their best player, right? And I give Lindsay Gottlieb a lot of credit. I think she successfully beat the Lindsay Sides allegations tonight. Plenty of good sets, solid coaching, even without your best player there. And I think, without revealing too much, I think when you have a player of that magnitude who commands that many touches, who commands that much attention, sometimes the offense is built around that person and that player, and it can come every now and then to the detriment of other players. And I think what you saw in these last couple of rounds from USC is Lindsay's ability to actually coach. And that to me, I think is impressive. Shouts to Ryan Rucco, got the Scarsdale High School mention on the air on ESPN. We major. Shout out to the 914 and our God alum. All right. But I think this was it was a good showing for USC's freshmen, especially. Like they got some kids, man. Like Avery Howell, Kaylee Heckle, Kennedy Smith. They have some kids that are going to be there now, assuming they don't burn them in the portal, because that's where it seems like everyone's going these days.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Hey, yeah, you never know.
Well, we're gonna believe me. We're talking Olivia Miles tonight, family. We're
assuming you'll hold on to those kids.
Yeah,
that's a huge deal. Rhea Marshall played out of her gourd tonight.
Yeah,
I mean, we've kind of gotten on her like at different times this year for the inefficiency around the rim, in spite of the ability to, like her size and her ability to command presence inside the paint. She just misses these bunnies all the time. She shot the ball great. Like, she played extremely well. I think Kiki was a little gassed. That was kind of my read on it. But also, she was frustrated by Sarah Strong, dog. She didn't have anything for her on the defensive end. And I know it's like a small and semi-simple move, but that like spin move in the first half, where she just, it's like a 2-step twirl by Kiki to go to the hoop. And I'm like, oh, dog, this is like,
I was like, at her age, we're doing that.
Yeah, we're
year one.
No, the passing, the move.
No, the last time to Caitlin. Oh, yeah, bro. Caitlin. Talk about Caitlin 10, please.
You've been in the UConn trenches forever, right? Like, what is there an offensive analog to her in terms of a big this early? Like, I've used the comparison that she
because the passing, not the vision. I remember watching her last year play 3x3 for Team USA, and there was a pass that she made in the high post, and I instantly was like, I haven't seen like a player who's supposed to be a post had that. It was to me, honestly, watching it, I just saw Nicole Jokic. like that is what it gave me, like, in terms of passing. Like, and at the time she's 17, 18 years old. And that is just what I saw. And I was like, players your age don't make passes like this. They don't even have the feel on the court to make a pass like that. You know what I mean? To try something like that. And then you see just this year how many times she was able to operate out of the high post, make the backdoor cut, the pass and to a backdoor cutter. And obviously her and Paige's 2-man game this season also was incredible. And a lot of that is because she is just as an effective passer as Paige, right? Like, I trust her to always kind of find the open man and just make like a dazzling play. So no, I don't believe, and you might laugh because maybe the best passing big that in recent memory is Ono. Honestly, Ono was a phenomenal passer.
Ono was a good passer.
But justice for Ono.
There definitely is like some. Yeah, like I couldn't shake the Jokic-ishness. Like, and I know that there are some in women's basketball world who bristle at the idea of like comps to men's players, but sometimes there's paradigm shifting players like this where the only analog you have is a guy. And I feel like this is kind of that. Like, everything just like it all looks like it progresses so slowly with her too. Like, she moves at a different processing speed than other people do, and like these things occur where you're like, how the hell did she just do that? As a freshman, man, I think it's very clear over the last couple of years this is what UConn's been missing for a title contending team, right? Like, you've had the guards, you've had Paige, but you haven't had a big like this, and to me that makes all the difference in the world. And when you're playing against a team like USC who's got good players up front, you have to find the inefficiency somewhere. You need your star players to play like star players. And Sarah Strong coming out and just cannon threes in the first quarter. I mean, at that point, you're like, ooh, this could get wicked real quick. And credit USC for staying in it. But, I mean, it's a bummer that the injury cost us what the rematch was supposed to be. I know we all wanted that. I wanted that. I thought it would have been fun to have. It kind of, took some of the bite out of the matchup. But, I mean, it's a great time for UConn. I want to say in this respect, because UConn is like, it's like 11 national titles and more Final Fours than anybody. It's like, okay, how much help do they need? Like, plucky underdog UConn coming back to the Final Four at last, But I do think there is something here with just the fact that they've kind of been on the periphery for the last couple of years in terms of legitimate national title contenders. And it feels like for the first time in a little while, UConn is kind of back there, which I think is fascinating to me. And I'm seeing the chat roll out. Big shouts to the friend of No Cap Space, Caitlin Chen. Huge game.
Big game. Legacy game.
Grad student, man. She was great. And to me, that's the thing that's why you brought her here. Like, you brought her here for veteran presences. Like, you brought her here to hit these shots, to know all of the right places to go for the effort plays. Like, this is why you have transfers that come up from those mid-major levels and can contribute at this, at this point in the season. You want people that are battle tested, and she is, and you saw it. So shouts to the Ivies and shouts to Caitlin Chen. She's gotten a lot of shit this year. For maybe not being the player that people expected her to be when she got to UConn. Gino's caught some flack as well for not having her be what we thought she was going to be in terms of like minutes and where she'd be in the rotation. But you know what? What was Zam Jones's quote from NC State? When the dog's name's called, the dog come out. Like, that's what it was with Caitlin Chen tonight. So I was psyched to see that.
Yeah, no, it was. Again, shout out to the friend of No Cap Space. I'm almost scared to ask. Shawnee, do you have any UConn thoughts on this game? I don't know how much you got to see.
No positive ones anyway.
I don't know when you started your drive back or anything.
She said I was going through a tunnel for the last 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was listening to Vic Schaefer. Like, God dang. But
God bless him and hook 'em horns.
Man, his opening statement was like 10 minutes. Vic can go, man. I know, man. Yeah. But anyway, he be having stuff to say. He be saying stuff. But like, he's not afraid to yap. But like, I saw bits and pieces. I saw that Sarah Strong move, and I was like, oh nah. And then I was like looking in. Yeah, and I kept checking back in, and I was a little disappointed in USC. Like, some of y'all a little old, and I've been believing in some of y'all, and I've been hyping this up. So I felt it could have been closer. Like, it's one thing, like, if Paige had went nuclear again and had like 50 points or something, and absolutely like torched the freshmen, okay, you're supposed to do that. They're 12. Congratulations, Grandma. But like, for it to be a Sarah Strong career game, baptizing someone her senior, like, ooh, like, I know she's one of those ones, but it's also like, hey, fight back. I feel like you're one of those ones too. Please pinch her. I don't know. So yeah, I expected a tad bit more. I know what
we're starting to
pull it out.
All right, you're in a blender.
Yeah, we're starting to lose you, Shawnee.
Are you serious?
A little bit. It was going in and out.
Was Shawnee losing service right when she was about to start?
She was about to say good things about. Is she went underwater as soon as?
Okay, I'm gonna make sure that we have the most premium Wi-Fi on Sunday.
As soon as the talk was on the way, she dove underwater.
Hey, you know how they had Caitlin Cam?
Get out the Shawnee cam.
We might have to be live from press row. I'll set the tripod up just next to y'all and just have
for real. We starting at the hotel.
We're gonna be slapping each other like Paige and
Well, the thing is, the funny part would be that y'all would be in press row, so like you can't even really react for real. So it would just be a whole lot of silent, like just the whole time.
I would just be looking like I'm.
Like just eyes. The eyes would be cheering and nothing else. Like Tyler, I need you getting us from the hotel into the Uber. Well, we might
walking into the.
We might. Would y'all watch a No Cap vlog chat?
Wait, no, I gotta pull up to the arena by myself, dog. I gotta.
She getting tunnel fits with the headphones in.
Bro,
get ready with me as I watch my enemy's downfall.
Funeral game. I'm pulling up in a black leather trench. Fuck with me.
I can't wait for the Larry Bird Michael Jordan dap up at the end of this between you two.
You
fuck you. Oh, don't worry. I'm making it all happen. I'm bringing the get along shirt. Like, I'm bringing the get along shirt.
The funniest outcome to all of this is spending 20 minutes on this possibility, and the title game ends up being UCLA and Texas.
Dude, Andrew, my Scorpio brother, I was literally getting ready to say this. Like, yo, we might both be looking stupid.
Could you imagine? Well, let's talk about Texas, because that was indeed one of the basketball games of all time. But I think one of the most interesting storylines of this Final Four is that the three other teams in this Final Four are the three teams that this season have beat South Carolina.
That's such a whack storyline. Like, nobody's ever made like,
when you watch the games in 2 years.
This is
kind of what happened.
So sorry that you guys went undefeated last year and won the national championship.
Yeah, because here's my thing.
Their fans don't even know how to really be top dogs. It's so
no. Here's my thing. 2022, right? 2022. We win a championship. 2022. The first thing out everybody's mouth. Yeah, this is the worst 3-point shooting team in the history to ever win a national championship. It's like, what? Well, goddamn. You right, but like you ain't had to say it. So now I'm kind of like, dang, we get to the Final Four and it's like, hey, here's all their ops. All right, fine, line them up.
All the
like, I ain't scared. Line them up. But I'm just saying, like, okay. All our ops in the Final Four, cool. Line them up. Feel good about yourselves. 2 of you, kill yourselves. Kill each other. Battle each other to the death. And then we'll see you in the finals. Line them up. It's all good. But I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah. I hear y'all.
Seeing this with the profile picture makes it even funnier somehow. Than if it was
I couldn't find my glitter Anon heavy.
So that's what you wanted.
Yes. I was in a hurry. I was trying to hop on.
But God, I don't even. Okay, to talk about this game, let's lock in just for a second so we can get to Olivia Miles, because I don't think we want to. Respectfully, this was a not fun game where we just saw TCU unable to get the ball inbounded, but just continue to run the same inbounds play every time, like the split screen, like just. My mind was boggled the entire game. I mean,
Sedona's luck ran out,
bro. Yes, Sedona.
The luck when you are actually faced with like real post players.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. This went pretty much exactly how I had anticipated, to be quite honest. Like, I didn't think that Sedona Prince would be able to handle the size and the strength of Texas. The ball pressure that was applied. I think it was even worse than I had anticipated, honestly, like with the full court press and just the inability to get the ball inbounded. But yeah, This was nasty. And the thing is that Texas, this game was like a 2 to 5 point game still for the majority of the game, which is like part of me is like, how does Texas keep getting away with this? Like, obviously they're doing something right because they keep winning, But like, I can't believe again, like, that this was kind of the way that like it was this close with how dominant Texas's defense was and how disruptive. Shawnee, you were there, boots on the ground. We'll see. We'll let you know if you go back underwater, but your vibe check from being there in Birmingham.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think so. We'll let you know if it stops.
Reporting live from Bikini Bottom. Go ahead.
Worst Tuscaloosa. No, I'm kidding.
This is bad.
So, like, I how do I say this respectfully, and do I need to? I don't understand Sedona just as a concept, because I'm like, you're 6'7", don't grab rebounds, you don't hold on to the rebounds that you do grab, you don't protect the rim that well. It's left in the game. And Kyla Oldacre got the steal and was like, it's point forward.
Bro,
and she fouled out.
on the broadcast, they said it was like a defensive lineman picking up a fumble. I was like, okay, hold on, like,
that's foul.
I was like, that's so foul, bro. Shout out to Joe for the super chat, but their defense makes their side of the court mud. Yeah, I mean that about sums it up. And the Horned Frogs, we thought the Frogs enjoyed the mud, but they don't.
Well, I'll say this. I am glad that the poster child for fake demon in the NCAA women's basketball annals of history went out in the most.
Oh, she's a demon to somebody.
Humanly possible. Well, yeah, like I mean, fake demon.
More than one person, probably.
Like, but the crazy thing is like this goes back to covering them and covering her at Oregon. Like, I remember, and you guys remember, back in the days of the old chat, we would talk in the non-cons for Oregon where she would put up like 20 and 10, and I'd be like, oh, damn, like this might be Sedona's year. And then we get into the Pac-12 against real bigs, and all of a sudden, all of that evaporates. In the Big 12 this year, there wasn't really a lot of elite bigs that they had, and they didn't really get a lot of games where they played one. I mean, the Kansas State game, Ayoka wasn't playing. And so when you look at what they faced in this tournament this year, they did not really face a high-level front court until they got to Texas, and it went as you would expect. Like I said the other night, like I think what sucked is that this was supposed to be a really fun story for TCU this year, and you can't root for it in all good conscience while you got her diddying it up in all of the fucking videos. Like, it is like, yeah, like, you know, like, right? Like,
what?
Anytime, yeah, like it's a good analogy. Like, yeah, anytime we get like Hailey, you know, cutting the promo, like we got Sedona jumping in like Bad Boy Records. Like it was ridiculous after a certain point. And so I am on a certain level glad that we don't have to make this moral compromise of like, should we root for this team or not anymore? But it just, from a basketball sense, you know, it reminds, I mean, it's how Mark Campbell builds these teams. And I'm really curious how he attacks the portal and builds in the future, because the one thing that this team did not have this year that 2019 Oregon team did, which is the easiest and neatest comparison between that team and this team. They had a point guard, Hailey Van Lith, Sabrina Ionescu. They had a big Ruthie Hebert, Sedona Prince. They did not have the Satu Sabali this year. They did not have the 6'4", 6'3" wing that could score at multiple levels. They had a Madison Connor was like their Aaron Bully, spot up shooter who can hit threes at a 45% rate. How they go out and find that wing is what I'm curious about, because they had nothing for Madison Booker tonight on either side of the floor. And that was the question that we had coming in. Who do you stick on Madison Booker? The answer is nobody. You don't have anybody for that on your roster. And that's, look, for a guy that basically the team right. in year two, like it's understandable. You're not going to get a national title contender overnight like this. I am really curious to see how he reshuffles in the portal again, because this is where we've seen he builds out his teams kind of year by year in this way. There's not a ton of elite recruits that come in, but his gift, Mark Campbell's gift, that is in being able to maintain relationships with people, even if he misses out on them, he's able to get them in year 2 or year 3. So overall, like a solid year for TCU. I'm glad we don't have to make the moral compromise anymore, and I can go back to rooting for them like I was like the year before where she ended up showing up, or the years that she was off the floor completely. But for Texas, I mean, look, shouts to Vic Schaefer. You got to give it to him. It's hard to do this. ESPN splashed the graphics. There's only been 4 coaches in NCAA history, not counting AIAW, that have taken 2 different teams to a Final Four. It is him. It's Kim Mulkey. It is friend of No Cap Space, the legendary Marianne Stanley, and the god C. Vivian Stringer. Like, that's it. That's the only list. Now, obviously, there's more elite coaches that have been at single schools all the way through there. But at the same time, to be able to essentially build 2 programs back up is a hard feat on its own. And Texas demands this kind of thing.
Vic is reheating nachos?
What was that?
I said Vic is reheating Kim's nachos?
I mean, I think a little bit.
I'm just playing.
Listen, I think Vic's got a great opportunity here to really exercise some demons in this Final Four.
Hey,
man,
hell yeah.
how we talked last night about.
Don't remind me.
South Carolina's got the Tiger Woods aura, and like coaches just kind of get shaky when they go up against Dawn Staley with 2 minutes left in these clutch situations and tight games. This is like Vic's chance to finally beat Phil Mickelson, bro. Like this is the final opportunity for Vic to be able to do something. And I'm really impressed with the team that he's built. Rory Harmon, man, what a great story. Like what a genuinely great story, from getting back and bouncing back from the injuries that she had to having to kind of rediscover and redefine her role on this team, to manage to go ahead and as an undersized guard lead this Texas team to a Final Four in this year. I mean, that's like, she's the story I think we probably should be elevating a little more of in media.
I mean, she is also a friend of No Cap.
She is a longtime friend of No Cap
Yeah,
Space.
like, she's like being able to see her from, because I started covering, like my first tournament I went to was her freshman year, was a Big 12 tournament. Like that was like the first thing I was like really like credentialed to for real. And so seeing that and like that, the energy and everything, like it's not like a ton of, I don't want to say like not a ton of growth, because I don't think that's fair, but like this is what she's always been, is what we saw tonight. But the way that she had Hailey Van Lith like trapped the entire game, and it was wicked. Like the way she was moving her feet and everything against Hailey was insane.
Tony, what that look like live?
And that's what I was getting ready to say. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
And watching them play defense live and just seeing where their eyes are and seeing how they move around, like it's incredible, because like they are all over the place and they do it as a unit. Like it's very, very, very impressive. Because
it is.
Oh, my daughter was struggling. My daughter still got her stuff off, but like watching her try and take Rory one-on-one, and Rory was up for that challenge. It was crazy to see. But my daughter still got her stuff off, so either way, I'm leaving here with something.
You're leaving here with something. And you left.
But also, I left there with the interview. So their interview's up. Just, FYI, if you guys want to hear what Texas's Rory Harmon said after the game about how she was able to slow down Hailey Van Lith, it's on our YouTube page. If you want to hear how Hailey Van Lith battled their defense and what made them so tough, it's on our page. So yeah, go pull up those interviews and see what they had to say about this epic battle. Shout out to my daughter though. Like she gave a very, very
I got you right here, Shawnee. I got the quote that we pulled just to give people a taste of what you got in the locker room. But like the kind of shifting the narrative here with Hailey, obviously this year. I mean, so many memories of like I didn't think I realized like how sad I was gonna be when I was like, damn, Hailey Van Lith isn't playing college basketball anymore. Like it actually like kind of hit me. Like at the end of this game, I was like, damn. And then I watched your interview right here on the No Cap Space YouTube page in the locker room directly after the game. And I was like, damn, like no, like she like this was a genuinely therapeutic year. Like just from a personal perspective, forget basketball. Like this was a therapeutic year for Hailey Van Lith, while also completely revitalizing her basketball career and likely gonna find herself drafted potentially in the first round. We'll see where she ends up, but someone's drafted Hailey Van Lith she's getting drafted. It's just a matter of where. But seeing this where she talks about like the previous years and being grateful for that and how like this wasn't a revenge year. It was very easy for us, and like I mean us included. We were hyped about the HBL Bowl like maybe more than anybody else, and so to see her where this could have easily very much been a like I'm out to get them type of year, and turn it into like no, like I'm just doing me, and like I was so impressed by this interview. So you can go check that out. It's right here on the YouTube page. So once we're done here, go check it out. But yeah, so impressed.
I feel like we had a lot of that this year. Like I feel like within the grad transfer, within the grad transfers this year, I think we got a lot of kind of really nice catharsis among some of these players. Because like we have HVL on one side, we have Deja Kelly on the other. I think that there's, we had Lauren Betts and that whole discussion of leaving Stanford and coming to UCLA and finding her peace and happiness again. There's like kind of a really heartwarming undercurrent to a lot of this season of players rediscover.
Getting away from white women and being happy. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
like you're not wrong, but
yeah. Well,
but I will say this: like, it is a very it's been very cool to see it. And I'll say this for Hailey Van Lith, man, like she is a person that had a lot of expectation thrust upon her from the minute that she left high school, right? Like because she was really her, Zaya Cook, like that was really the first
overtime.
Yeah, but that was like the first overtime era of like high school player in women's basketball. Like those were the first viral superstars that we really saw come out. Yeah, and the attention that was thrust upon them in the digital space specifically was huge. And so, you know, that kind of stuff can break players down, and it can break young women down, especially. Like, it's not easy to be an elite athlete. It's doubly, you know, not as easy to be an elite women's athlete with the amount of shit that you get online. And it's, you know, it's been cool to see them in full this year and look like they've found a center again. And I think that's kind of
oh, sorry.
Oh no,
in the chat, there are some questions on why I don't consider her a grandma, and it's like, you're broke unless I like you, then you're a victim of capitalism. It's the same concept. Same rules apply.
This is fair. You know what? It's the genesis of ethical hate, and you can't ask for much more.
You know, if nothing else, at least it has a basis, a guideline.
Texas SC, UCLA, UConn. It's going to be a great Final Four. Yeah. That is what I'm psyched for. I'm psyched to see everybody go, and I'm psyched to see you guys there. And who knows? Maybe you'll pull up some portal and tampering news yourself, because Tyler, I think you've been dying to do the Olivia Miles thing.
Dude, evening. I'm itching. I've already gave my whole emergency show, but folks, I still don't have any idea what the hell just happened. So let's talk Olivia Miles, folks. let's talk.
That was what she was like. I've outgrown college, and what it was implied that Notre Dame, this college, we
didn't realize she meant this institution. Look, so I said this on in the emergency show again. It's here on the YouTube if you want really the real raw reaction to this. But we talked a lot about players having eligibility, who could go back, especially like when the trades were happening, like the Sparks trading out of their pick, you know, like just all of the Sky trading their pick and things like that. We talked a lot about this, and obviously we didn't have any like real kind of deep insight, but there was always the possibility of, you know, going back to school. I don't even know what you're laughing.
Who else would I be laughing? Who else? He's in here lurking and writing in the chat.
And you're the one that said I'm glazing and being annoying. That's
No, it's but the thing is here, there was always a possibility of Olivia Miles going back to school, right? That was always a possibility. It felt like that was a genuine possibility. I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we were all leaning towards her going to the draft. Like, I think that was kind of the general consensus.
Oh yeah.
Her leaving Notre Dame was never, ever a thought.
I screamed.
I did too. I literally went, holy shit. You know, like I could not believe what I was seeing. I thought it was a joke.
On press row, just like an entire group of people get the news at the same time. Yes. And everybody looking to their actual right, like, are you seeing this?
Actually, Shawnee, I want to ask about that because I've been on press rows at major games when heavy news is broken before, and it is a trip watching a bunch of journalists react in real time. So I am very curious about how the row reacted to that in Birmingham.
Well, there was like a 2-minute period where no one was watching the game because everybody was like literally buried in their phones. Like, I looked up and people are like passing their phones over. Like, you see, like the radio people were looking at the phones on air. Like, it was crazy. Nobody was expecting that.
Because it's like the Luka trade where they're showing the phone.
No, that's honestly like that level of shock and like confusion.
Same vibe.
Like it was a very similar vibe of like, what do
like
you mean?
You don't believe it's real when you first see it.
Yeah.
And you're looking for another person to report it. And Shams had both stories, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did.
And so I remember
we keep thinking he's being hacked.
Yeah, no, he didn't. I need to make sure Shams got 2-factor authentication on because he be stressing me out with these reports. But I mean, let's dive in now. Now that we're here, I think it's Skim Milky on Twitter, who runs the streets of Twitter, was saying TCU. So that's not official or anything. But look, man, Andrew, I'll let you kind of take the. I mean, look, Mark Campbell and a lead point guard. Look, that's always been at like thing number one. That's thing number one with Mark Campbell from Sabrina. You now get this with Hailey, and it's not like the revitalization of a player, but you mix that in with a little, TCU money, and it's maybe not the craziest sell ever, especially obviously with the CBA and everything that is still being kind of constructed and debated between players and the W. I mean, just in general, you don't have to stick directly to TCU, but like just your general thoughts when you saw this, and like what schools stick out to you, and we'll kind of roundtable this because holy shit,
feels like a tamper. I hate I hate to be that guy, but like if you hit the portal and within 25 minutes of that report, there's a likely destination tapped on that, like. Someone was whispering in some ears in Birmingham, dog. Like, and I that's just nature of the game. Like, it's dirty game, bro. And I think I do think it's slightly interesting that if this does come to pass and she ends up at TCU, this is a lot of like Mark Campbell masterstroke, whereas like whenever Coach Yo does this, we're like Coach Yo tampering like a motherfucker again. Like I'm very curious what the response to tampering is gonna be if this is what actually happens. But I feel like TCU is an option for her. I say this with no insight whatsoever. I know Oregon's got some money that came off the books with Deja Kelly. And I know their recruiting strategy is heavily portal dependent. So there is a shot that maybe they try and throw some money down on an elite point guard. I also think that there is a big bag chase happening right now after the Aaliyah Chavez stuff. And that's just
Oklahoma setting the standard. Get your money up. Get your money up. Get your money up. Get your money up. The city of Norman got money bags. Get your
education in the dirt, but you got Aaliyah Chavez.
Get your money up.
I genuinely think that there are players and there are agents that are going out right now just trying to see what they can get. I mean, you've already had coaches that have gone out and basically said there's bench players asking for 6-figure deals, and that's preposterous. So it wouldn't shock me if ahead of the CBA, you're going to see a bunch of players try and maximize their bag for the 1 year before we hit a CBA that pays out rookies to a substantial amount. And I do think on some level, maybe Flage's suggestion could, if Flage like goes to the draft, right? Like Flage is going to have her own money, right? Like it's kind of like Caitlin's thing or even Angel's where yes, the rookie contract's not great, but you're getting so much money off the side that it really doesn't matter because you're banked out regardless. I think for the players that have, just, playing ball is the option, it's probably a better financial decision to stick around for a year. And I think all of the picks that have been swapped and shopped in the WNBA this year have all kind of had this undercurrent of there might be a lot of people that decide to go back. And so these picks are not actually as worth it as we think they are. And now we're starting to see that's like a legitimate possibility here that outside of pick 2 or pick 3, how much does this stuff actually really matter?
I feel like the smoking duck right now. I feel like the smoking duck right now. Because Tyler, I need you to pull a comment up on the screen. I need you to pull sinister Aristotle because I'm about to get real sinister. I don't think. I also think that ACL's here. I need you to pull that one up there.
Oh, okay.
921. 921. Or
this one.
Okay. Yes. Because I remember the North remembers people talking about them being the best backcourt in the league in the game. Okay, and where are they? She's not even in South Bend no more. She's somewhere else. And I also remember people saying that she might be a better pick in this draft over Paige.
Hey, that did not age well at all.
Come on now. Yeah. Come on now. And now Sinister Aristotle is saying he don't even think she can make it maybe 3 years in the league. It's crazy. Woo, what a turn of events.
I'll say this. Scheme fit at Notre Dame clearly didn't work.
Like, so I want to talk about that.
Late. Ball down because,
because you brought up Oregon and TCU, and I just don't think either school can prepare her for the pros because she needs to get better defensively. I don't think you're going to do that at either school.
Look, I know a school.
I know a school. Wow. I'm cool.
First off, there's a couple.
I think Oregon can. My counter is I actually think Oregon can. I think if you look at Deja and what Deja did this year, I think that what she showed from a defense and effort perspective and ability to command an offense it's going to get her on a WNBA roster. That is
there's no one like I don't know who I can barely remember who's left at Oregon. So it's just like you're just not playing with the talent.
It's not the same quality of play, yes. Is she gonna go to South Carolina?
No, that's not the school I was talking about. No. Look, I'll tell you the schools that came to mind initially. Like when I recorded the emergency video, were TCU. It was USC as a USC West to potentially just play alongside, and like if you're just trying to win, get bigger market, that type of stuff. Obviously, kind of fill in for Juju there. UConn would be hilarious, by the way.
We already took Avina Westbrook from Tennessee. We made an exception to taking our ops once, doing it a second time in the NIL era. The NIL era, no less, would be absolutely wicked.
But the chat has caught up to me. Duke would be interesting.
It would.
Duke would be interesting. We're talking about a place you can get your defense up. You have pieces there that Lord knows they need some offense and just someone that can
structure on
create. And yes, absolutely. I mean, like literally anything that Olivia can do on offense, Duke needs because they need everything on offense. You know, so with her, Toby, like you're keeping like not all. There's not a ton of graduating seniors, I don't believe, from Duke. If I'm not mistaken, it's like you're keeping.
Jesus is gone. Richardson is gone.
I think Richardson's gone. I think those are the two. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's
Jaden Donovan's still going to be there.
So like you're Alucci off the bench. You're keeping like a very strong part of your core, and some recruits coming in too, if I'm not mistaken. So like. Look, man, I don't know if she would stay in the ACC. I don't know. However, I didn't think she was leaving Notre Dame. I didn't even think there's a possibility. So at this point, what do I know? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. NIL is the only thing that matters. And like, I don't know. But like the idea of, again, I like the SC fit, like just from, I don't think that's like a defensive, like growing your game in that sense, but like just from a need and market. And like, if you're just purely going NIL, I think that's very interesting. And it would allow Lindsay to be, I think, more of a coach this year and be able to form an offense around a Jazzy Davidson that's coming in, around Kennedy Smith and the other freshmen that were here, Howell and Heckle. And then you put Olivia Miles in that. Like you need to go get some bigs. You might need a little bit of size, but I'd be interested in that. But when it talks to like in my head of where you can go get defense and where it fits, I don't know if there's a better place than Duke right now. This is an interesting one. If you're Duke, you can only take one between Latson or Miles.
Miles.
You
need a floor general with that.
I think so. I think you need a system as opposed to
Latson is a scorer, and I feel like and I don't want to distill her down to just that. Like she did a really good job of becoming an additional distributor this year.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like you need her to be like operating alongside a true point. Like Latson's more of a combo guard. I think Miles is more of a true point guard. The weird thing is though, is that I feel like the breakdown, and we talked about this a little bit the other night, is that like the breakdowns seem to have come when Miles started to shoot the ball a lot more, you know, and like Hannah's the volume shooter, and it seemed to work its best when Olivia was primarily a distributor, and the minute that the shooting ticked up, the fit started to become a problem. And so I am curious if you, and that's why Duke is interesting, Kentucky's interesting. I saw some people in the chat saying that. To me, I think that would be fascinating because she's probably going to need her shot. Like she's going to need attempts. And
well, if you remember when we talked to her, right, that was one of the big things that she was working on, was becoming like a knockdown 3-point shooter.
What you're saying? Like,
hey, Senator Aristotle, bro, I gotta send you some money because you on a heater right now. You on a heater right now because yeah, she was shimmying and doing all that, but again, those were transition buckets. Those were that was transition offense that she was getting for Notre Dame over the weekend. So, you know, yeah, when you really hold it up to the light, y'all was the best backcourt in November. Like you never been to a Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, look, the amazing thing about the portal is like how snap the reactions can get. Because like I think about it with college football, right? Like my alma mater, where I'm in Denver right now. Like we got the God, we got Coach Prime here, we got Dion here in Boulder, and you know, every year, like he bleeds off a bunch of transfers and it's like sky is falling. Do people want to play for Dion? And then he just reloads like a month and a half later. And it's like, oh, okay, everything is fine. I'm really curious about how all the fallout here shifts and moves in the next month and a half, because my first thought here is what the fuck is going on at Notre Dame?
I was just about to ask that question. Like,
we have to worry about Neil Ivy's job here. Like,
well,
what the hell is
happening? Because we were already talking about like, do we even have any conversation?
Like, did Muffet call in the hit? Like, what is going on?
Not Muffet from the ACC Network Panic Room. No.
Muffet, well, I'll say this.
Muffet. It would not be Muffet doing that.
I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
But I think, we asked those questions immediately, right? I think with Tanaya Latson's situation, it's different. I personally think that there's a fit component in there, but I think that is going to result in a move of how she can maximize player of the year box officeness. I think that it was very clear over the course of this past year that was a big thing with her and her team, was wanting her to get a little bit more attention than she was receiving at Florida State. So that's a certain move. This one is totally different. And you know, I'm curious what Neil ends up doing in the portal, because that way we can sort of see what the balance is and how it all works out in the end. But the snap judgments are fascinating because you see great players leave and you're like, oh, that program might be fucking doomed. It's entirely possible that kind of thing happens. So it's
General came early.
So it's man.
Grimm's having a day, bro. Notre Dame's downfall. UConn in the Final Four.
Hey, we got a couple more dragons to say.
Hey, these Notre Dame commercials are just getting more awkward by the day. By the way,
literally
I saw
by the day. Commercial right after the Olivia news.
Yeah. No, he got
get wicked. Yeah. All right, I got to bounce, but I saw Shawnee's waiting in the car.
Oh, Shawnee back?
She can take my place.
I'm nervous.
Hello, Shawnee. Welcome back.
Wait, because you said something about Sabrina. No, I'm playing.
I came back. What did you say? What did you say about my dog?
That's wicked.
Dude, coming back on the stage. You just
no cat 50.
Go get it. No cat space collection.
No, it's involuntary.
Go get it. No, it's. I mean, look, man. Sometimes you can't help yourself. The home field merch is so good. You just gotta get it out. You know, I understand.
Merch for everyone's agenda. Go get your home field merch. Push your agenda.
Well, I mean, look, Shawnee, I would love to to close here with your Olivia Miles thoughts. You know, we got your reaction to it, but like you were there obviously this week in Birmingham. To your point, we heard like Olivia Miles like press conference at the end just sounded like she was going to the W, to be honest. Like it like that's what it gave to me initially. Like just hearing like, oh, it felt like kind of growing out of college, but she wasn't sure. Absolutely. I mean, again, like there was absolutely nothing at all that leaned towards this by any means. From what I heard, from what I read. I guess your reaction to it. Are there any schools that stand out to you? Is Niele Ivey? I know we had talked about it a little bit after the TCU loss. Like, do we need to kind of heat up the Niele Ivey dialogue even more now? Like, where are you standing at with Notre Dame right now?
Yeah, I am curious what was going on to make her that unhappy, like bleed, right? Because like you have a solid core, so it's like, why not run it back with this unit? So something was up, and I don't know who it's up with, but that's interesting. We'll wait for the biopic. I know, like on
I want you to, Scotty. I also want you to know that while you said that, Rashard is in the YouTube chat saying Niele is safe. So like,
of course,
yeah,
he is.
I feel safe too. I think this is like
but the only comment he's left all night is that, like, please.
Yeah, but hey, he's here. He's consuming. That's UConn
first. Welcome, Shawty. This is a no cap live stream. Yeah, but no, Shawnee. I mean, again, I think we're going to learn more about this, but there's eye emojis everywhere now across this entire program. It's just a matter of where we end up actually staring.
I think it's like, could the backcourt function together, right? Were you able to like get a cohesive unit in that backcourt to where everybody's eating and everybody's doing their thing and feeling like they're, you know, able to be Batman? So maybe that, I don't know, like you said, well, slander you. First off, I hate y'all. They said our insider says Juju and Olivia to Texas, and I was like, why would you do that?
Up, bro. Look, man, you already lost Aaliyah. Come on now.
What? I went full like Kumbacha girl. When Olivia to Texas, I was like,
that was the other school I had no video. If you replace Rory with Olivia, you get more scores.
Hello?
You get the defense. They got money to spend. If you didn't spend it on Aaliyah.
And that's what, yeah. Freeze up in cap space.
I'm intrigued. No, like I hadn't actually thought about the fact since they didn't get Aaliyah. Like, you got one.
There you go. Yeah.
Like from what I had heard, I mean, last I had heard they were, you know, they got plenty. Well, I'll put it like that to put it generally. They're not hurting for it if that is a move that they want to make. That is a move that they can go and make. And it might depend on how this Final Four goes, honestly. Like, I think, like, truly, like, you know, if Texas, I mean, depending on how far they go, like, that can easily change the makeup of, like, a player wanting to go there or not. You know, it could go either way, really.
Yeah, again, or link up with Tanaya, because Tanaya was like, I'll come, like, I'm in the portal, but, like, you know, I'll come back. It's
That'd
cool.
be fun as hell. But I'm
not gonna lie. And then the Notre Dame game, hey.
If that happened, I think we'd have to be like, okay, so this was something more personal because it's not a 2-guard thing or a guard dominant thing that was the problem. Like from an on court perspective, like if something like that was to happen, I really think that there's I mean, obviously we'll have to see what comes out. We haven't heard anything from Olivia directly. Normally, you know, players will put out their statement and everything, so we might be able to get a little bit of a vibe check.
I might actually read all of that.
Like, I know that would be a statement I will read. I will know whether to say sorry or congratulations to Olivia Miles because I'll be reading that one. But no, I mean, is this the most shocking transfer portal entry that we've seen? I think so. Off the top of my head, I can't think of one that.
Yeah, because I just feel like there were no indications that like she was unhappy and would consider playing for another college program.
Right. Yeah, I can't think of anything close, to be honest. Like, I'm telling
and
you.
I mean, and then for like, babies, new people to the game, I think maybe EDD transferring out of UConn way back when in 2007, maybe, but like she never even played a game there. So, very different. But yeah, to have had, such an esteemed career so far at Notre Dame, right? I think, she, in the program, she has a bunch of the records,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is, but I think somebody else pointed this out on Twitter earlier. It was that did Olivia commit to maybe Muffet originally started recruiting her? And it was like O'Neal keeping her on the boat essentially.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would have been right at the transition period, I would think. Off the top of my head.
Because like when you're saying like we didn't know she was unhappy, I was like, has she ever like expressed extreme happiness about like the situation? Like we know she wanted to come to Notre Dame, like you just said, but like I'm not starting any nasty rumors, but I'm just saying like it's usually like Rory has been gushing about what Vic means to her.
I feel like we have from Olivia. I feel like we.
And if I missed it, then that's on me. I'm just acting like we have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I feel like we've gotten enough from Olivia where it's like whether it be like the Niel, because even like when we interviewed her and when we had her on, like even talking like kind of hearing how she talked about Niel, like everything was just like there was never like look, we interview players a lot, right? Like that we have the whole series here on OCAS Space. We could there's different vibes in interviews, right? You could tell as you are conducting an interview.
Sinister Aristotle, send me your cash app right now. Send me your cash app right now.
Wicked. But we know when a player,
that's just Cruz. We know on the iPad.
Oh God, bro, you think he's asleep? Nah, but we know when a player is kind of like just answering a question versus when a player is being is genuinely answering a question. And it's not like some hidden talent. I think that's pretty easy to tell whenever you're watching an interview or whatever. That felt very every time Olivia, and that was before the season started, right? So a whole thing. We've gone a long way since then, and obviously things can change. But I certainly feel like it's been positive enough. And again, it's more than just not you're gonna be the number 2 pick. Unless Ajay comes out, you're probably gonna be the number 2 pick.
Oh, still? You think? I don't think so.
You don't think so? Unless Malonga, would it be like Malonga jumping? You think?
Oh, well, I just don't think it would be Miles.
You just don't. Look. Obviously, I think Sonia could have jumped up. Regardless, I think you're still in the lottery at worst, right?
I think this is a mailbag question for Rashard.
Well, lottery is still top 4, right, in the W. I don't know about that either. Again, Sinister Aristotle brings up an excellent point about the defense, and there were quite a few times that between the ACC tournament and March Madness where they were making defense for offense subs with Olivia Miles, and I just don't know that they weren't doing that to Citron. I don't know that you could take a player in the lottery who and then also is not completely dominating the offensive end.
Look, that's very valid concerns. I can't. There's no rebuttal to that.
Right, 1 year with Vic, lock in. Hey,
for genuinely though, that might be the fit because that's less work. You compared to Duke, right? If you're just going defense for defense, of you could put Texas has a lot more pieces in place. I feel like. Than Duke does to turn their offense into a good one. If you have an engine like Olivia Miles that can kind of feed people and get people open and get people their spots. You got Madison Booker right there. That alone. But then you also
do you want to take the ball out of her hands, right? She's evolving as a playmaker. She's there's a lot of things to balance. And then I also remember thinking back to our interview with Rory before the season started and her just talking about the deep the conditioning that they do, the defense that they practice. A lot. You got that you need total buy-in. You can't. It's not a 1 foot in.
Yeah, there's no BS. No.
You know what I'm saying? And Does Olivia want to do that in year 5? I don't know. You know what I mean?
With injuries and everything. Like, I mean, I truly think, I will say, if that was the move, I think it's absolutely looking at the blueprint, the blueprint of Rory having come back from injuries and still like being able to do that. However, and this isn't even a diss to Olivia, it's a pro to Rory. Not many players are built like Rory. Like just from a mentality standpoint, a conditioning standpoint, like she is unique. She's been that way since her the first time she stepped on the court for Vic. Like she has been unique in that. So I don't know, man. I mean, look, I'm still like, this doesn't really still feel real to me. I don't think I physically I'm trying to imagine her in a different college uniform, and I can't. Like it's one of those players. I'll tell you right now, though,
she's gonna drop out and become a TikTok star and play an Unrivaled.
Maybe it could happen. It could happen. It should be a messy. I will say, wherever team she goes to, I'm gonna tell you right now. Forget seeding. It doesn't matter. They will be in Notre Dame's region. This messy ass tournament committee. It doesn't matter. Some team might get hold on their seed because they're putting whether it's Notre Dame, or whatever team she goes to. I promise you, especially if she goes to TCU, who just
not with that Kevin Durant storyline. Like, please,
I'm telling you, the next chapter.
Oh,
the next chapter could happen.
The next chapter is
it could happen, but I'll tell you right now, the selection committee.
You're telling me Emma Noble is in the car crying for Olivia?
Nah, we gotta end on that. It's not getting better.
Yeah. Good night, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that's my time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We're past our hour. We gave you 7 minutes extra. You gotta pay the fee to get more. But folks, genuinely, thank you so much for tapping in this entire tournament so far. Look, we are next up. We'll be Boots, and we get Greer and Shawnee with both their teams at the Final Four. I'll tell you right now, you should subscribe. You should subscribe. I am so incredibly excited. I'm going to be there instigating the entire time. Just whatever I need to do.
Messiest person is a man.
Is a man, and more specifically, it's Tyler DeLuca. Because I not only am I a man, but I'm a man with a camera and a mic at all times. Okay, and it will be documented. So make sure you're subscribed here. We'll have you with boots on the ground. All the interview stuff that you've been seeing. Shawnee's been doing fantastic work in Birmingham. That is what we're taking to Tampa. We'll have more boots on the ground. We'll have post games.
We'll have lives. We got dropping Wednesday. Like, so y'all, it's that our presence will be full till we touch down in Tampa. And I think we got to check in with Kia. I'm not sure how that works. We'll figure it. Yeah. Oh, does he know who Kia is?
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was lagging.
Yeah, but yeah,
it was lagging. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I understand the reference now. But yes, no, we got stuff dropping.
We got checking with
her. Yeah, we got stuff dropping. We'll have our previews. We'll have stories. We have feature stories still coming from Birmingham and in the aftermath, as Shawnee has deemed it. So be tapped in NoCastSpace, WBB.com. Look, we'll be live. We're getting everything out right now. It's all getting planned out. Look, man, NoCastSpace is the place to be to get the best coverage for the Final Four. So make sure you're tapped in across socials, across YouTube, across the website. Oh, and look, a new Shawty mock is on the way. That's breaking news to me. Breaking news to the YouTube chat. Shawty's in the booth. Shawty's in the booth. Shout out to producer Shawty. There's going to be a ton of stuff coming out. Make sure y'all are tapped in across the board because the next time you see us and see our faces, we'll be in Tampa for the Final Four, joining UCLA, UConn, South Carolina, and Texas. Until next time, we'll see y'all there.